Hello and welcome to Thought Leader Talks. Our thought leader for the month is Pallavi Agarwal, founder and CEO of Kander, a Salesforce consulting firm in Washington, D.C. Pallavi is passionate about helping clients connect with their customers by developing business processes and solutions focused on easing customer challenges. Pallavi has over 15 years of experience in management consulting. And Pallavi is very much driven by the Ohana spirit of giving back and is actively involved in mentoring women in the community for personal and career growth. And she leads the DC Admin Salesforce group. Hi, Pallavi. Great to have you on board.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, Pallavi, you've spoken extensively on the importance of requirements gathering, and it's true, discovery can either make or break a project. What are some of the common pitfalls that lead to incomplete or inaccurate requirements gathering?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things, right? One is sometimes we come in because a customer's like, "Hey, I need problem X solved." So when we're gathering the requirements, we only focus on X, and we don't dig deeper because we're so focused on delivering scope, getting them what they need. And so it becomes more short-term thinking or short-sighted thinking versus long-term and just foundational. So some of the pitfalls can be in that scenario, if you're only focused on X and you deliver on X, and then they're like, but now we need Y. But Y was actually, had I known about Y, maybe our solution and the foundation we would have put would be different, because then now we may have to regut or rejigger things. So it might add to technical debt, it might add to the scope, it might do that. So I think one of the big things is like asking about the X, but digging in deeper and saying, okay, but what is it that you're really trying to get into, and making sure you've exhausted asking questions. And then the second part is also asking the right questions, right? You can ask questions to get the information you want, but asking the right questions is really the key. And what I mean by that is a lot of times as the solution experts, we focus on building the solution. So we're asking questions from a solution perspective of what can the solution do? How are we already designing the solution versus asking about the business? So keeping our questions more focused on the business and the outcomes of what they're trying to achieve with their business really helps maintain that integrity of the blueprint design in a foundational basis that then reduces rework. It helps tighten your timelines and scope as well as technical debt.
So be more tech agnostic and focused on business.
Exactly.
I heard a podcast of yours where you provided insights on applying XP principles to better design and architect a solution. What pointers would you give Salesforce architect to glean principles of experience design and techniques of XP to better design and architect a solution?
I think it's the same, right? Like sometimes we get so, especially when cool new technology and features are being presented as I am not an architect, so I'm not going to pretend to be one and be in their mindset, but the architects I've interacted with, they're phenomenal, right? They are experts in what they do and they enjoy it. They enjoy the problem solving and the complexity of how to build the solution. But sometimes they're enjoying building the solution so much, they forget about the business. So, and who's actually going to be using it, right? They may not necessarily completely forget about the business, but sometimes we're trying to solve the business problem and build a solution, but we may not always keep the end user in mind. So I think one of the things to think about is who is really utilizing the tools that we're building? How are they utilizing the tool? Are we building it in a flexible way? Is it multidimensional in the sense that, you know, I as an end user who might be doing data entry uses it one way. I as a manager who needs to analyze the data, maybe using it another way. I in the C-suite is really thinking about the data analytics in a strategic planning way. So how are we building this? How is it user-friendly from that perspective? And how intuitive is it? So really thinking about like, I can design a beautiful mansion, but if no one wants to live in it, then what's the point?
Right, that is true. And digging a bit deeper around this, when a customer says I still haven't found what I'm looking for, it's not Bono, but a customer with like a solid list of requirements, they've charted it out, but still they are dissatisfied with the outcome of the solution offered. How do you tread the ice where you get, when you're dealing with a customer who has this set of requirements and you want them to actually objectively introspect the why to reach the root pain point and not be totally focused on their Bible of requirements?
Yeah. So it really depends, right? Some customers come to the table who have a baseline knowledge of what the application can do and what it can provide. So they already have a mindset of, okay, I'm investing into this product because I expect to gain all of these things. And then some customers are like, they have a concept of what the product can do and they've heard the buzzwords, but they don't really know about it. And their mindset is somewhere else. And that usually those are the ones where like, but these are my requirements, this is what I want. And then when you try to build a solution, they're dissatisfied. A lot of ways to curtail that is really keeping them involved in the design piece, the discovery part, but also building out some of the wireframes, right? To show them and prototyping a little bit, even if it's like, if it's wireframes and not actual build inside the system, just to kind of give them visually, this is what you can expect. And then talk about why they should expect this and how it correlates back to their business. And so even if they're like, no, I want a yellow apple, it's like, no, but you're really asking for a banana. This is why you're asking for a banana. And this is what the banana can give you, right? So kind of helping them in that journey and guiding.
Okay.
They're looking at us as the trusted advisors. We know the product, but they're the experts in their business. So how do you bring that merriment together to support that?
And as a trailblazing woman in tech and an experienced Salesforce mentor, what career-defining advice would you give women entering the Salesforce verse to find their niche and find their voice in the world of tech?
So a lot of the women that I've mentored in the past, they are experienced women just entering into Salesforce. But a lot of times, because they are not familiar with Salesforce, they retreat back to saying, I'm entry level. Yes, you might be entry level in the product, but you have a lot of skills from your previous careers that automatically translate into the career that you're going into in Salesforce. So that's one of the things that I always like to remind them is like, no, you were managing teams before, you were leading these efforts, you have this, the product might be new and you're learning the product and you need that foundational knowledge, but keep that in mind. Another is find mentors, find others who, that you can relate to, ask them to be your mentors, seek them out. A lot of people are happy to give back. They were in your shoes at one point too, so they'll help and guide you. And, reading, I really think following some of the blogs, checking in on the stuff that's happening. Salesforce publishes a lot of great stuff as well. And then there's so many community members who volunteer their time to put information out there for those who are entering the ecosystem. And then also just find peers who are in that same journey, because having mentors is one thing, but then having a support group who's doing similar things as you really also helps.
Right, and connected with what you just said, so can you share some tips for a newbie to kickstart networking in Ohana? Ohana is so welcoming and everything, but at the get-go, it may seem a bit, they don't know how to navigate their way through it. And particularly, as you said, to identify and connect with a mentor.
It's very daunting. I remember when I joined the ecosystem, I was like a deer caught in headlights because there's so much happening and you see everyone else, they kind of know each other and you step into a room and it's like, oh, they already know each other. I don't know how to say hi. But really, that is it. That's the secret password is say hi. Like, muster up some courage, attend the user groups. There's so many user groups happening, especially now that we're back itching to be more in person. There's lots of activity happening with the Trailblazer community, with the user groups. There's, people have found people on Twitter. And just if you see someone posting stuff, send them a DM, and if they can get back to you, they will. And just let them know what you're looking for and support, or if you admire something about them, let them know, and they might be able to help you get there, or if you're seeking something specific. And then there's so many beautiful community events. If you can, that's why they're happening. The dreaming events that are led by the community, they happen locally for a reason. Yes, I personally have flown to a lot of them, but not everyone can afford that. But that's why they're regional, right? There's community events happening most predominantly, hopefully, close enough that they're spread out regional that people can at least drive to. If you can attend those are really great ways to connect as well.
That sounds good. And talking about you have attended a lot of Dreamforce events, Trailblazer meetups. So let's end with your quirkiest, funnest anecdote from a Trailblazer or a Dreamforce meetup.
I think I don't know if it's an anecdote, but it's something that surprises me in pretty much every meetup is everyone thinks you need so many certs to be successful in the ecosystem. And I do think certs are important and we encourage certs even in our company, but certs and experience have to be together. And also experience trumps your certs. If you have the experience so like, I would say I don't have a quirky anecdote, but I think that like always makes me laugh is every time I go into one of these, people are so nervous about studying and getting their certs.
Right.
And then some people show up with multitude of certs, but they still don't have that hands-on experience to plug it in. So.
Yeah, and I think that will help newbies to not be daunted by going ahead and attending these meetups. Yes. Exactly. Domain expertise does matter. Right?
Exactly.
Lovely talking with you, Pallavi. And I will put your credentials in the blog so people can reach out to you. Your LinkedIn.
Yes, anyone who wants to reach out, like my LinkedIn is available, my Twitter is available. Happy to help in any way. Just want to see everyone in our community thriving. So thank you.
Thank you. That's a great message. Bye.